TGR.
Hey everybody, welcome to our revised Gaming Resume segment. I am Sean, this is Matt, this is Rudy. I mean Onyx, I'm sorry.
I'm Rudy.
Someone's tired.
I'm Vsauce.
I've had way too much video game time lately.
Onyx. Get it right.
We're just like changing characters in and out, just like an Octopath.
That's true. We're swapping in and out.
That's a
you
segue.
You just discovered the Rudy job.
Oh,
You just
Discovered the photographer subclass.
You've got the Rudy subclass. Today we are going to give you our impressions of what we have played so far in Octopath Traveler. And got my Switch controller right here, so we're going to go run around and play with it for a little bit.
Should have brought my Pro controller.
Just so you know, spoilers for any stories through Chapter 1. Mm-hmm. So we've mostly beaten all of the Chapter 1 stories, so we'll probably talk about those. We won't be talking about any Chapter 2 stuff yet. There may be some gameplay spoiler elements in here if you haven't gotten too far. I think right now we're all around close to the 15-hour mark.
Yep,
somewhere in that area. So some of us have been taking our time. Some of us have been pushing a little bit farther, but we're all generally in the same area. So with that out of the way, gentlemen, I'm just gonna start walking out into the woods.
Do your stuff, man. Start fighting some people.
What are your first impressions of this really freaking awesome game?
So I want to start off by highlighting, I guess, the big issue, the big controversy that this game had going in.
Okay.
Right? Which was the the fact that looking at a lot of the promotional art, you see these characters hanging out, making it seem like it was almost going to be this, journey they were all taking together, even though the developers themselves said it was going to be 8 different stories, right? And that is true, right? I think after we've played enough, we've noticed that there are no genuine interactions in these specific stories outside of just the travel banter, which I know you've done a few. I myself have gotten a few different travel banter scenes here or there. How do you guys feel about that? Because a lot of the internet was just very upset about that, and it's been kind of back and forth with a lot of misinformation. Now that the game is out, I think it's more clear that the travel banter, that's what you're going to get, right?
Yeah.
So how do you guys, so far anyway, how does it go into you?
It doesn't bother me. It honestly doesn't. This is like a choose-your-own-adventure book with 8 different stories, and you just happen to have all the characters in your party for gameplay purposes. I mean, it's not... It's weird that it's trying to be a traditional RPG in so many ways, but then in that way it's bucking that trend, and I think that's what might be causing some of the challenge that some people have.
Right.
So, like, 3 days before it came out, I had decided I wasn't going to get it because of some of these issues. It was bugging me, and as somebody who really, really cares about story in these games, needs that draw, I was really worried about it. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and give this a fair shot because the gameplay is pretty good. Now, I haven't got I've almost got the entire first 8 together, so I don't know how much those stories continue and, like, get more intriguing. I gotta say, like, I don't think that the interaction is so much a huge issue, but I think right now the story hooks for the game in general aren't incredibly strong. And I mean, I think that's inevitably gonna happen when you don't have that, right? Like, it's not like a party of people on an adventure together doing a thing, therefore it's harder to write this one whole narrative that you would get from a classic, I mean, if we're gonna compare this to FF6, which is not actually FF6, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think right now the game is good because of gameplay.
Yes.
Story-wise, it's not pulled me yet, and I don't think that it's ever going to pull me in the way that I would expect something a little more close to the originals to. But the interaction, it's whatever. Like, I don't feel like it's bothering me as its own problem, So it's definitely, rumors of its demise were greatly exaggerated.
Right, right? Definitely. And I think, I don't know, it's hard to say. So the travel banter scenes that I've seen were okay. Like, they weren't, too crazy. They didn't add anything, substantial so far to the character interactions. But I can see the potential that they had. And it bums me out a little bit that they went this route. And again, that's fine. They wanted to tell 8 different stories. That's cool. I get it. But seeing them interact, like, for example, without spoiling anything, in the chapter 2 of this character of Therion's quest, Primrose was talking to him about what he's doing, him being a thief. And I thought it was such a cute little like exchange that, again, nothing substantial, but it could have, I don't know. I don't know how else they could have done it. It was good to see, you know, that interaction, because it gave slightly more to the character, you know?
I do think that one thing that kills me about it a little bit is what inevitably happens with any sort of RPGs. People develop their favorites, right?
Right.
There are characters that people really love versus characters that they don't particularly care about. Like, anything BioWare has ever done in the last few years really comes to mind, where they're known for their characters. And if you play a Dragon Age or you play a Mass Effect, you're like, oh, I really love this character. And then the same can be said for any of the Final Fantasies, like any of these. I think that where the struggle comes in is because there is no overarching like joint story with these characters, because each of them has their own storyline that you need to go through, it kind of forces you to deal with the character that you don't like. Which I guess you could just skip their storyline, but really you're missing out on a part of the map. And because it's tied to the exploration, you really don't want to, right? So say I don't like, I don't know, as a random example, Alphen's story, which is not true, because Alphen is actually one of my favorite characters.
His story was kind of boring, though.
But say that you just didn't like him, you didn't find him compelling, you only ever have him in your party to do his story. That's going to be a significant chunk of gameplay that you're going to feel compelled to do, but not enjoy doing. Which means that you're relying entirely on the actual gameplay mechanics to get you through, and I think that leads to one of the big complaints people had, which was that the game is very repetitive. It relies on the same things, but scaling up to get you to a spot where you really enjoy it. So, I mean, I do like it. You're almost...
I know, I just realized
is this an optional, like...
Yeah, this is a level 25 optional dungeon.
You gotta pay attention now.
But yeah,
I'm like trying to listen to you guys, and I'm like, well, I'll take my time. Dead.
You're about to die, dude.
It's all good.
I don't think that the whole story thing was what grabbed any of us, right? Like, we played it in the combat and the art and the character. Like, it was like, oh wow, like this looks good, this feels good, this is fun.
The combat sealed the deal for me.
Right.
But that very first demo let you play Ulbricht's story and Primrose's, and both of those are, I would say, on the mature. You know,
they have stronger intros than
right.
some of the other characters.
And that kind of sold me too, because Primrose's story, I mean, the tone of that story is very dark. I mean, we're talking about abuse, like, I mean, you know.
That kind of shocked me. Even some of the language they use in that, it's just like,
yeah.
Whoa, he just called her that. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, he just made a reference to that very adult thing.
Your lips are so pretty, and they belong here.
Yeah, I was like
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay.
This is uncomfortable.
So, and you know what's funny? Thinking about that, like, I was watching a video of somebody else's impression on YouTube. Oh boy, Clemps. And he mentioned that he played Tressa's, which is like, hey, we're gonna go on a journey. He literally said, I'm Luffy from One Piece. And then he goes, plays Tressa, or I'm sorry, Primrose, and it's like, oh,
this is
oh my god, the tone
dark
shift.
Stuff.
So I mean, he said it as a derogative, like the tone shift was so intense that he felt like it could have been a little bit better done. But regardless, Primrose's story is good, and that's what hooked me. Originally.
It does in some ways feel like it's 8 different things all trying to be together. And there's some repetition even story-wise. Like, obviously, there's a lot of tragedy used to motivate a lot of the characters. So some of the backgrounds have some commonality. There's a couple that really stand out to me.
Which one?
Primrose's stands out.
Yeah.
I actually really like the beginning of Cyrus's, just because
Cyrus's is cool.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, Cyrus is cool.
Sort of what happens with him.
Yeah.
Tressa's is fun just because it's got the adventure. I don't know if it necessarily stands out. You know, Therion's is pretty bread and butter. Hanit's is pretty bread and butter. Like there's There's a couple. Ulbricht's is pretty good.
I really like Therion.
Therion's, I like him, although. I know we're not getting into this yet, but the English voice acting for him is bad.
Well, we can talk about it. We can talk about it because that's actually, in terms of a character, his story. You're right. It is pretty bread and butter. He's just a thief.
So far, yeah, the beginning. Although him getting locked into the way he did, where it was like that whole butler scene was really interesting. Where it's
butler was cool.
Oh yeah, you were good, except you suck because you didn't realize how valuable this was. Well, you're good enough. We're gonna blackmail you now. Yeah. That was really cool.
That was well done, and I really did enjoy the beginning too, even though, like you said, it still feels bread and butter because he's just kind of stealing stuff, whatever. But I do really like his character. And you mentioned the English voice dub. I was talking about this earlier to the group, where in certain scenes in the Japanese dub, he'll like fake a voice, like in the first chapter when he goes to the mansion and he's talking about like he's like a merchant. He put on a different voice. He's like, I'm like a merchant, and I'm here. You know, like it's maybe not to that extreme, but you could hear it.
Yeah, it was subtle. I did play that sequence in Japanese actually,
and you noticed it. Apparently, I mean, he did it again in chapter 2, and I'm like, oh crap, this is a character trait. I really enjoy this. Kind of sucks that it's on the English dub, but I thought it was really well done, and that sold me on the character. Like, even if the stories don't interject, and this is, you know, I'll loop it up with this. Even if all the stories don't have that grand, you know, like conversion that we all expected them to have, I still really like these characters so far. Some way more than others, but overall, yeah, I'm digging this. What are you doing?
I've got one of the original Switch controllers that has that.
I have the same problem.
Really?
The left controller. Has that same
yeah.
problem. So the camera's right in the way. So it's
It's a camera.
If there's anything between it, it'll cause problems. I need to get mine switched out too. But so Sean, you and I are the only ones who played it in English. I've done both.
Actually, I'm loving the English dub. There's definitely some secondary characters or tertiary characters where it's just like, oh, that doesn't even sound like a 6-year-old boy. Like,
Or Therion himself didn't sound like a 6-year-old boy in his in that flashback when they're kids.
Yeah.
Like,
well, whatever. But
that's inconsistent.
okay, that's no fun, police. But like,
Oh my, whatever. Anyway,
I actually, you know, you guys were talking about his voice actor. I like him. I don't have any problems with any of the main 8. I really don't.
I get some serious like D&D vibes from some of them where it's like 8 friends sitting around a table like playing out their characters. Sometimes it's a bit melodramatic. Some are better than others. Like I think Tressa's is really good in English.
Tressa, because she's
like
having
her.
fun. She's just a lighthearted character.
Ulbricht's is not bad. Honey is kind of overly like
Honey,
it's very dramatic. Like,
isn't Honey like? Isn't it the olden English?
Yeah,
It's not there. It was not
that's
that
not
bad.
that bad.
I
More
could
just like
stand it.
her vocal tone is more what bugs me. Where she'll just like the tone she takes is sometimes it's like they're hardcore playing the character.
Like
but you know what? I've been able to go back. I have bounced back and forth between the Japanese and English, and I've settled on the English just because it's easier for the sequences. Because you have to read half the game anyway. It's not all full voiced, but I've been enjoying it more. So the Japanese is better. There's no debating that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that it's a great dub either, because that same scene where they were kids still was voiced by adults in Japanese, so it's like, oh god. But I don't know. I think in terms of story, it's at least in chapter 1, they all have pretty promising starts. I really want to see where they go. I want to see how they develop, and so far I can say it's cool. Yeah, I dig it.
How you guys like the path actions?
Path actions. I've already noticed overlap between them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't like that. That kind of bummed me out.
Okay, so hang on a minute. So there is overlap, but there's a reason for it. So for example,
like Alphen and
okay, so Alphen and Cyrus.
Scrutinize and Inquire.
So Alphen, 100% success rate every time. You just walk up and you're like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah,
You're guaranteed to get what you want or need out of that person.
Okay.
There are certain characters where they just won't talk to you, and you have to use Cyrus's ability. And Cyrus's ability, while it's the same thing, you always have a chance to fail.
Right.
And if you fail, then
the
your reputation in town goes down. I actually let it go down to see what would happen.
You can't do any path
You can't do any
Yeah.
path actions
You have to
any
pay.
longer, and you have to pay. And I think I had to pay like $5,000.
Yeah, it gets
Yeah,
expensive.
it's expensive.
Yeah.
And that was early on, so that was like,
hurt.
oh crap.
Dude, I safe scummed that. I 100% do.
I think I did it in one of the
I
towns
saved,
and I let
did
it go.
and I'm like, I'm gonna reload the save. Who cares?
I think basically every path action has kind of a double. Like,
Yeah.
So like Honey and Ulbricht basically have the same thing.
Yeah,
they're
provoke,
slightly
yeah.
different, but they're basically the same thing.
But Hane, you only use your beasts.
Right. Tressa and Therion like have similar ones now. Where I like that one, and you have both of them in the party.
Actually,
right now,
you're
so you can
right,
see this.
yeah.
What's nice about that one is Therion can steal a lot of stuff that you wouldn't want to pay for. But
Yep.
there's every once in a while you get that really good item where it's like 8% chance to steal, and it's if you have Tressa there, you're like, oh, okay.
just buy it, I
Let's
guess.
see how much this costs. All right, 2,500. You know what? I would buy this anyway, and I haven't found this item anywhere else, so it's good. So I do feel like there's a good sort of back and forth.
There is.
It's almost like the light and dark side of each of those skills.
I mean, pretty much. That's a good way to see it. Definitely. I mean, I thought they were all gonna have unique path actions. Like, unique path
Yeah.
actions. And again, it kind of, when I noticed that with Alfred and Cyrus, because that was the first ones I noticed, it bummed me out a little bit too. But I mean, I can see, like you said, one is limited, whereas the other isn't. But then there's like the.
I haven't gotten Ophelia yet, but I think I had a friend playing her in the 3-hour prologue on my Japanese account just to check it out. Is she and Prim the same thing?
Essentially,
she has like a summon.
She guides.
Yeah.
She guides.
Prim
Right?
lures.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't know.
Both of them rely on having a secondary character.
I'm not really using either of them at the moment, so I don't really know how.
You have a feeling
how
you're
they have
party
it.
I wonder if you can do both of them to have like a total of 6 party members.
You can.
That's interesting.
Actually, I think you can technically have a total of
8.
Actually, I think you can have 8 because the merchant you can buy.
You can buy somebody, yeah.
Here, I'll show you. Because I've got the merchant, and so if you have somebody that has the merchant as a subclass in addition, then you should be able to
Hire 2 more people.
Yeah. Now I don't think they're permanent. Like I think
No,
they
it's just for
come
the
out-
fight, right?
Well, let's see.
Hired help.
So hired help.
And then you put how much money you want.
Yeah. So
So mercenary?
I'll buy a mercenary. I don't know if they stick around or if they run away. They might run away.
So is it just for one attack?
No.
Oh.
Okay, he ran away, so he's done. He's
Oh
gone.
wow. Okay.
But if you have a companion, you can summon them in a certain number of times. But when you summon them in, they'll stay in the fight for a few rounds
turns,
before they
yeah.
bow out.
You usually get like 8 to 9 summons, and they will stick around for 2 to 3 turns.
Yeah, that's how the
Yeah.
lure and guide work, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, speaking to that, I think one thing that is interesting and one benefit of the whole 8 different characters is that there's a lot of party chemistry that you can play around with. Now, obviously with any game, there's going to be min-maxing. There are best setups, and I haven't really looked a lot of them up. I have seen a lot of people write on why certain characters are not good at certain points in the game or not good to have in your party. Like a lot of people...
I've heard Tressa's.
Like Tressa, yeah,
No.
they're like Tressa's utility is great.
She's my main character.
But in terms of combat, a lot of people are like, there's no
Limited.
reason to have her around. You might as well
She's
just put her
one of
sub-skill.
my strongest ones because she's the
Well,
highest
yeah,
level.
yeah.
Yeah, but in terms of her actual ability set, same thing with Therian. People are like, Therian's not good until end game, but I have him in my party and I love using him. I think we all have
He's
him in
fun
our
to
party.
you, yeah.
So but it gives you a lot of options, which is nice. And I was just talking about this the other day. When I get Ophelia, I want to run like Alpha and Ophelia at the same time. I want to go like crazy OP Healy and just
I know
see
you
how
said
that
that.
plays. I just want to see what happens with that. You know, I have been running Hanid as my main damage dealer because she's broken.
She's actually super strong.
Like her base summon that doesn't cost her anything.
Lind?
Lind is fantastic. Like that sweep, that AoE sweep's one of the best like initial AoEs in the game.
which
I've
Olbrich
thought-
has it too.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about trying to run her and Olbrich for a
Oh
while
my
together just to
God.
see what like crazy kind of damage. So I do like that's like one of the benefits of the whole 8 different characters thing. And I think what most people are probably doing is running 3 main characters and then swapping out their 4th party member for the story sequences.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if that's the way you guys are playing.
Well, okay, so it's kind of weird. I noticed something with the chapters too. And I'm sure you've seen it too. The ones that you, Sean, that you've gotten there. So when you start seeing the level caps, there's some chapter 2s that are much lower level than
Yes,
others.
there are.
Hanit, for example, is level 27, whereas Prim is 21. So I noticed that I went to Prim first because I thought, well, this is gonna be easy level up. And then I realized, oh wait, this is how it is because that's how they designed it. They designed it in a way so it's almost telling you where to go based on that level cap.
Right, yeah.
And that kind of bummed me out. Again, because it's now like the freedom is gone. And at first, all the level 1s are level 5. And then they started going up as you got
get
every
more
character,
characters.
but it was still consistent.
But it caps out, I think, at like level 11.
Yeah, but they were all consistent. Now with level 2s, or I'm sorry, chapter 2s, those levels are there's gaps between them. You're not going to go to like Hanit's level 2 or chapter 2 because there's a 6-7 level gap between us. Unless you grind.
Right.
And that
32% chance to
Look, I'm just goofing out. This thing's dead.
Sorry, continue.
No. That's pretty much my point.
Oh! Missed his call. This thing's dead. Stab. Didn't get it. Calling shots, man. You gotta call your shots accurately.
No, I meant it dead as in now that it's
broken.
That it will be
you
dead.
should.
Good
You're,
save.
you're OP. You should. Come on, man. Are you in the initial desert area or are you in the chapter?
No,
2
this is
area?
Borderfall.
Look,
Okay, I was gonna say.
71%. Okay, so here's a fun thing about the thief. He unlocks an ability that allows you to get double of whatever you collect or steal.
Ooh,
Yes.
that's
So
one
even
of
though
his
it just said I
passives.
got an olive of
You got
bloom, I
two
think
of
is what
them.
that was. I
Olive
got two
bloom.
of
I
them.
just got that last night.
So on my merchant on Tressa, I gave her the thief subclass
Okay.
because I've unlocked that.
So you can
can-
steal it.
So now when she steals money, she steals double the
Double.
amount.
Nice.
Yeah, there's some very interesting interactions there.
The subclass, I genuinely love the subclass like system. Like my Dan. Okay, so the way I have my party set up is I have Hanit with a scholar, right? Because I just found that one. Therion is still Therion. Cyrus is Cyrus, so scholar thief, and then Prim, my dancer, is a cleric. You stink.
88%.
Sometimes.
And yeah, and Hanit is. I'm sorry. Prim is the dancer with the cleric. So, I mean,
I'm just whittling it away.
yeah,
I don't
you're
wanna kill
fine.
it.
You're fine. You don't want to kill it?
No, because I want to steal from it. I want to get money.
Just break them.
She got it. Or he
See,
got
like 540. Usually it was 200 something.
Yeah, that's actually solid. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They give you little like incentives to do things in combat that punish you in combat, but are good. Like there's not a boss that you shouldn't collect or steal from.
I've been forgetting to do
Oh,
that.
dude, you got to. You absolutely got to.
Now you're gonna have to show us the real path.
The real. I don't even know where I am right now. This is not.
I was going down. If you just want to,
This is Therion's
we'll
area.
just keep going in a circle around the lake.
Well, yeah, but I haven't been in chapter 2 yet, so.
This is chapter 1.
This is chapter 1.
This is Therion's like
and yeah,
waterfall.
you wanna
You've gotten
go-
Therion, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, where's the? Am I supposed to bridge? Oh.
I'm already across the bridge. So now you're
From
going.
Hani,
Yeah.
did you go counterclockwise?
I'm going counterclockwise.
I went.
you?
I went counterclockwise from here. Yeah.
So yeah, this is the first area you visited.
Yeah. That's why I was asking, because those birds seemed higher level than what I've been fighting in that area.
Yeah.
I don't know if the game scales to
It
you
does.
at all.
It scales up to level 11.
Oh,
So that first ring
okay.
will be always like level
Yeah.
11 after that. In the
Yeah. So
entire
now
world.
these guys should all be easy peasy.
Oh, this is Cyrus. I don't even have Cyrus yet. I'm like literally getting him right now.
So, for those of you who've only played a little bit and may be noticing my characters look a little bit different, I've unlocked the subclasses for thief, apothecary. Oh yeah, Cyrus is OP.
Cyrus is so. That's why I don't want to take him off. He's
no.
so good.
Oh yeah. No, he's fantastic.
He's such a good character.
I mean-
He's also Sherlock Holmes, which is
yeah.
fantastic.
I can't wait. I wonder what I should put for his subclass. Because he's a scholar, so he's the magician essentially.
So right now I actually have him as a dancer because there's a skill the dancer has where you recover SP every turn. Then there's another class, I think it's the apothecary, I can't remember. There's another class where all of your SP skills, I think it's actually the merchant, are halved. So that 22 SP
11?
spell will become 11.
Stop.
And he would get 7 SP back every turn.
Okay, so I'm actually putting apothecary on
so
that.
then you don't have to even really worry about
Yeah.
SP items for him.
Well, that's why I have the SP. Yeah, Prim. She's a dancer, so she has that, and then I gave her cleric. So now for her heal more, which is 25 SP, it's actually 19.
Right.
Which is really good.
Oh, you get the subclass going. That's why these.
Yes, yeah, I've got subclasses.
Dude,
for these
subclasses
items.
just stack.
This Joy-Con is killing me right
I know the
now.
Pro
You
controller is so
just
good.
hold it closer.
No, I know.
No.
I know. It's just,
Is it
I
the
know
size?
This. It's no. It's the disconnect.
Oh, really?
Crap. Yeah, I need to get mine sent in
I'll
too.
try to fix
but- No, you're good. You're good.
Just move
fine.
the switch up a little
Doesn't
bit. That's
matter.
all.
Um,
Except for that hard drive.
But yeah, my point being that like the interactions, like the potential for interactions is really cool, and I think the way they let you sort of play the way you want to play is a lot of fun and gives you options that you wouldn't normally have. And so I think they sacrificed in spots where they wanted to sacrifice, and then they were like, we're gonna get this advantage from it. So
Yeah.
I'm okay with it so far. I'm really intrigued to see how like bosses scale and how good the art starts looking, all that. Which, speaking of which,
I was gonna say, what do you think about these enemy designs?
I love it.
Awesome. I actually really like. Look at that egg. What is that thing?
I love it. Yeah, the
That thing's
animation
scary.
is fantastic. Like the overall look is fantastic. It works.
Let me ask you guys a question. Clemps, thank you. So, and the only reason I bring this up is to talk about the art.
Mm-hmm.
If this was, say, a 3D game, like Lost Sphere, like, what was the
I
other
Am
one?
Setsuna?
Yeah. Do you think it still would be, like would people look at it and
Well-
say, like, damn, this game?
Well, when you say 3D game, do you mean in the assets
everything
themselves?
everything.
Well, because this is 3D in the sense that when you're walking around, it's 3D.
Well, sure, you're walking on a somewhat 3D plane, but what I mean is like
The
fully
battle
3D.
system's not. Yeah.
Fully 3D, like no pixel art, just
Well, I mean,
3D polygons.
this is actually 3D.
Oh my god, Sean. You know what I mean?
Wait, what was the question again?
If it was full 3D, like
Would
like
it still work?
no. Would you think? Do you think it still would be like? Because
This battle system's 2.5D. It's like Smash Brothers, but the opposite.
Well, the battle system is just a turn-based battle system. It doesn't
Yes, I
matter
know.
what art style.
I'm literally
I
talking
don't
about the
know what you're
graphics.
talking
I'm talking
about.
about the graphics.
Okay, the
If
sprites.
it was not sprite based,
if those
it
were
was
polygonal character
correct,
models. Okay.
yeah.
I think
fully 3D.
Okay, I don't think they would have been able to do nearly as much as the problem. Like they pumped this game out pretty impressively with a crazy amount of scope if you look at it. And I think them doing it in this style probably allowed for that. So
Possibly. I mean, but like the map design could have stayed the same. All I'm trying to say is like, do you think the game would have been getting the praise that it's getting? Because I think a lot of people are looking at it saying, "Dang, look at these 2D graphics, but it's so cool."
It would be looked at differently.
Do you think so?
Yeah, because I mean, people judge books by their cover, so
certainly
this has a
they're-
unique art style.
they're certainly capitalizing on people enjoying this style, like pixel art and indies right
Yeah,
now. So
absolutely.
it plays to the audience pretty well. I mean,
Like some of the effects are so good. Like
It
like,
is.
What like the smoke effect when you kill a monster is so clean.
so the spot where I've been most impressed is when you fight bosses.
Oh, the 16-bit
yeah,
graphics.
when you go up and like that stuff looks
Oh,
fantastic.
I never. I know what you're talking about as soon as you said that, but that never
Yeah.
clicked until you
It-
said
it,
it.
like,
the bosses are all 16-bit
Yeah, yeah,
versus
yeah.
like 8-bit
Yeah.
for these
It
guys.
made me wish that your characters did the same thing.
I
But I
know.
understand why it doesn't. I mean, I do feel like the
Oh, so
environment is at times a little lacking, which is fine. It is what it is.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's done in the style it's done in. I mean, it looks gorgeous.
But the combination of like those modern 3D effects with the old school sprite work, damn, it looks so like look at this depth of like this bokeh depth of
Oh
field.
yeah, how they
Yeah.
blur things, like the water shining in the background, and then as you
that's-
get closer, it just
That depth of field effect would never have been done.
Blurring of the trees to make them look like they're
That
actually,
would
like,
never
flowering.
have.
look the little smoke in the background.
Yeah.
Like they pulled this off.
I saw that.
It's yeah.
This nest wouldn't have been able to handle this.
no.
No way.
Not even. So I
know?
mean, it knows what it wants to be and it does what it wants to do very well. So I mean, it looks really good. I don't. That's the thing is like I enjoy this game a lot, and I've yet to have anything that I was just like.
Ooh, I think you're about to fight a boss.
Go for it.
Did the bosses respawn?
I would save.
Oh yeah.
Save right there. Well,
Well, there's auto save in the beginning.
That's
too.
true.
Heal up too.
Am I?
it's so I've
It's
noticed.
optional.
I want to come back to the art style because there's something very specific I want to talk about. But I've noticed I've run around to some of the dungeons.
Healing.
And there were
Oh my.
there were two different dungeons where there were no bosses. Like there was nothing in there. Like I cleared the whole thing, nothing.
No bosses, huh?
And I don't know if maybe I just happened to miss where they are, but I thought I was in like the final area and nothing showed up. And so I thought, okay, maybe it's part of like a side quest or part of somebody's story. We'll come back here. So I said, whatever. I did find one dungeon that did have an optional boss. And we'll find out now, because if you go up that ramp, there'll just be a menu that pops up and says, like, it senses danger ahead. Are you sure you want to continue or something like that?
Well,
But now you're in a
random
random
encounter. Oh wow.
You know,
I haven't
Level
been in here.
unlocking.
Yeah.
a lot of people a lot of people period are apprehensive about random encounter RPGs. Especially with games like Persona, even Kuni, where for all the faults that game had, it didn't have random encounters. Even Pokemon, as we've seen from Let's Go, they're moving away from random encounters, at least for Let's Go. So, how do you guys feel about random encounters? Do they bother you, or are you still okay with them?
They bother me when I don't want them.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But
I
but
mean-
then there's times where I'm like, come
Yeah,
on,
I wanna grind,
just
I wanna
get me
grind,
one.
yeah.
So I would highly recommend, until you unlock the Scholar as a secondary class, put Cyrus in your party. He's already OP, but he's got a skill that reduces the amount of random battles you're
Is it
running
about
into.
half, or is it just reduces period?
It reduces it by a decent amount.
Probably
Like
like
I've noticed
50.
that like when I walk and don't run, I can get through an entire zone without even hitting a battle. And then if I sprint, maybe 1 or 2.
Okay.
Although there's times where you might want that off if you're grinding.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
that's what I was saying. So like, so if
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah,
you can toggle between them. So actually, when we started this video, it was on, and that's why I was running through a bunch of stuff, and then I turned it off, and so now we're having some fun here. I want to come back real quick to the visual style, specifically with the characters. Both in battle, but I noticed it more when you're just in town talking with people, and they're doing like story cinematics. These character models remind me so much of Final Fantasy Tactics.
I know you've been saying that
Yeah,
so
you were
much.
saying
There are actually a few different things about this game that remind me of that, but there's just really subtle things with the animations, like where you're talking with someone and then they like step forward to like express the emotion of what do you like.
Yeah.
Like either come on, let's go. Like what do you like if like they're upset at each other and like they're going at each other, or they'll take a little step back because they were shocked. I've seen like how they animate their hands, even their eyes are almost the same way. Like these character sprites look like they could come right out of Final Fantasy Tactics.
So you mean like from the era where they had like
yes. And of course Tactics had the job class.
Right.
And so we'll show it in a little bit, but when you go to select a different subclass job, it's on the wheel, the job class wheel, and in Final Fantasy Tactics when you picked a different job, this like aura shot down from the sky like Thor coming down to Earth or whatever, and it like reassembles your entire sprite into different clothing.
Yeah.
It doesn't really embellish on it that much when you do it here, but it's similar.
Yeah,
and it was so funny because before this game came out, I was joking with these guys. Oh man, this is really gonna be Final Fantasy Tactics in disguise. Like this is gonna be great. And I am shocked at how many things I feel that they got inspired by to put in here. It's obviously much different when it comes to the gameplay.
Oh yeah.
But you know the way you earn job points to unlock abilities, and then when you have a subclass, you're still getting new ability. I just my tactics heart has been touched by this game.
It's so funny, man, because like I never really played Tactics besides Advanced. I mean, yeah, like, obviously that had jobs too and stuff like that.
And jobs, you know, were in Final Fantasy before Tactics.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah,
nothing
yeah.
new.
But what I was gonna say was like when I saw the job system here, I first thought of Fire Emblem because in that game you get a secondary class for your units.
It is similar. Yeah.
And when you get to that point, you have a really flashy animation, just like you mentioned of Tactics. So it's like, okay, I guess all these series kind of took from each other at some point, you know, and it brings me to the developers in interviews that have said, hey, we made this game because we grew up playing those games 20 years ago.
And you know, and that's why I'm like, man, the people who designed some of these animations, were they part of the Tactics team, or because they're Square Enix, like, is that a game that they played a lot of? And
it was
grew up on?
Acquire that developed the game. So Acquire.
So they could have been heavily inspired by.
Yeah.
So
because they have made Akiba's Trip, and
no kidding.
Yeah, they made another game too. I forget what it was. Bless you.
You're walking the line.
But some people from the Bravely Default team came on to Acquire, so that's kind of cool.
You're really nursing this battle, Matt.
I know.
Yeah, I'm like, what is going on?
You didn't give me anyone with good like arrow skills, so like.
No
The
arrows.
merchant has arrows.
Yeah, that's
she's
right.
got a bow, but like I
Just
can't
break 'em.
do any AOE against.
Oh, she also
anyone,
has
so.
a trade. The wins.
Yeah, I know, which I was messing around with earlier, but I was also not trying to spam my SP abilities. Just.
Oh yeah, you're about to get into a fight. Well, you have plenty of BP. Just kill him. Kill him.
Man,
Oh,
I
you
just
can
wanna
do his
steal SP.
Oh, you don't have SP. Yeah, steal SP. That does a lot of damage.
Does it?
Boosted. Boosted
Oh,
all the
that's
way.
that's the dagger one, right?
Yeah.
I think it's worth pointing out right now while you're
Look
doing
at
this.
this. Look at that.
Oh, yeah,
Look at that.
wow.
And you get the SP back.
That
Boom, baby.
you know, if you took everything that it's showing here with the different job classes and abilities, yeah, this is all really good stuff. But this boost mechanic really elevates this game to a different level.
And they did that slightly with Bravely Default, because in Bravely Default, really similarly, you wouldn't boost it in the same turn, but after a certain amount of turns, you could use up future turns
Okay.
and like do more damage. So they kind of took that idea and made it
reversed
into
a
this.
little bit.
Yeah, I had heard it was very similar, and I never played the Bravely Default game, so I don't know, but
Ooh, we got a boss coming up.
Are you ready? Oh!
now maybe I'll just show the game over.
Oh!
Oh!
I think you can capture this guy.
Have you not seen this one yet, or
No, I haven't been in here yet.
Oh wow!
I think you can capture this guy. Damn.
Really?
I think you can.
Oh, that. Would
Well,
be
I don't have
awesome.
anybody that you can
I
capture.
know.
Yeah, obviously.
So you can capture the optional bosses?
You can capture some of these big bosses, yeah.
For those of you who haven't played her yet, we're referring to the ability of the hunter,
Hunter.
to capture enemies, because then you can summon her enemies, or I'm sorry, her pets. Certain amount of, so what happens, like, because I haven't really played her that much. So does she have an ability that's like lay a trap and it catches like a weak foe or something like that?
No. When you capture them, so you whittle, kind of like Pokemon, you whittle them down and you break them. When they're broken, they're at their most susceptible.
Okay.
And that's where you get your high chance of capture. And when
Okay.
you capture them, you can only have, I think, 5 or 6 beasties at a time on your like party.
Right.
That's pretty much it.
So if you
see
want
like
a
a net-
seventh one, does it go back to like
No.
a PC?
or
or you literally
lose 'em.
only get 6?
you get 6, and if you get one, you can replace them.
Okay.
You can replace them.
So you could eventually just have a party of bosses.
If you, yeah, and but their capture rate is like incredibly low. Like I saw a guy try it over 100 times to get one.
Wow.
Like 100 captures.
So it's like capturing a Mewtwo with
Uh-huh.
Ultra Balls. You got to go
Uh-huh.
in there with
yeah,
quite a few of them.
and you gotta be patient. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to go back here now that I know where this place is, and it's lower level, so I can.
Yeah, I
probably
remembered
go.
it. We were in the area, and I was like, oh, I remember this. I didn't get to go in here. Okay,
I didn't
that's
go
what
down
it's
there
like.
at all.
I skipped it because I was like, oh, I still have 2 more characters I want to recruit.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just going to keep going.
This party is not great for this guy. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that now.
I mean, you've got okay, so let's.
No shadow damage.
He does under Dancer.
Oh, dancer.
Boom. Boom.
Don't even bother with
Also,
Night Ode.
yeah.
Yeah. One enemy.
That's heavy dark damage, too.
Ooh,
They're both heavy, but it's like single versus one versus all.
His wind up is he does not get to go over. He hasn't actually attacked me yet.
Yeah, he's coming up.
He's boosting himself.
Yeah,
I
that's
think,
what I was
with-
worried about.
He's gonna hurt eventually.
That's what I'm worried about.
See, but I love that like that monster design.
Okay. Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Actually, I should.
4 turns.
That will help.
Dude, I use the
considerably.
shackle a lot. As
Yeah.
well.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like that's the one reason that I don't understand why people don't think Therian's good early games. Like he has great debuffs like right off the bat.
Dude,
you
and
know?
just think about it. Like I told you that other time, that you debuff the enemy, you buff your character. You're talking about like quadrupling the damage almost, you know, or doubling or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. No, I agree. The boost mechanic is very.
1,600 for poison.
And he has 9,000 HP.
He's,
Who does?
The monster.
How do you know that?
He analyzed him.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. So he had like 9,000 to begin. He's almost dead. Damn.
Is it really?
Well, not almost. You did 1,600
And
damage.
you've got 3 to 4 more turns of him losing that much health.
Yeah.
So he's pretty much on auto death at this point, as long as he doesn't heal.
See.
I don't think he's gonna be weak to that.
But
At this point, it's a weapon.
It's a weapon.
I'll
Yeah.
analyze it just to see.
Damn, we didn't see that, did we?
What?
When you analyzed him.
No, I got shadow.
There it is. It's oh no, you're
Oh.
No, shadow and bow we already had. I haven't
Wait,
done the last
do
one.
you have Arrowstorm for the bow? Because if you do, use it. Arrowstorm. Check the.
no.
No, he doesn't have
No,
any
that's
hunter
the
subclasses.
the
That's a
does.
hunter.
Yeah.
Dude, that's one of the best physical abilities in the game. It does 5 to 8
Yeah.
hits. However, it's guaranteed to always hit 3. So you'll always hit 3
It is
arrow hits,
really, really
and then
good.
maybe between 3 to 8.
It is very,
Yeah.
very good.
It's so useful. So we're at the point of the video where we're fighting this boss, and we're trying to actually think about it. So forgive
know,
our
right?
lack of discussion
look at
about the
No,
game.
this is great.
But this is awesome. I like this.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, the big boss bird showed up. He's like, I'm here to wreck.
Let's see what his last. I want to see what his last. Let's see.
Oh, he's yellow. 4,000.
A spear.
Okay,
Spear,
which
okay.
the same character has spear. And,
Yeah.
Damn, this party's killing me.
I would break it because it's about to nuke you on the next turn.
I need to.
Okay, so now he's broken for 2 turns, right?
Yep, which I don't have a lot going on here.
Well, you can try to like just do some damage and then rest the other person.
What's your most powerful weapon?
I would say-
Therian? 'Cause I don't know what you got equipped.
Is-
Honestly, though,
It's hard to pick this game up and play with somebody else's party when you don't know
yeah,
what's going
it's either
on.
the dagger or the sword.
but
think
I
the
would
sword's
say,
pretty strong.
but I would say use the thief skills, man. They do
Yeah.
a lot of damage.
See what you can steal, or are you ready to steal? Oh no, you're not
a
even
little
close.
too
I would say
yeah.
like either steel SP or HP because they
HP,
both do
yeah.
2 dagger
I'm gonna do
attacks.
HP right now.
Yeah. See, you do like
Yeah.
600 and you get 300 back, which is super useful.
Um,
He's got dancer skill, so you
Oh,
can.
yeah.
Actually, Therian ought to res her.
You might as well just boost. Oh no, wait. Save your boost for the next turn, and then just nuke it with the heavy foe because he's vulnerable.
Yeah. That's
So
true.
if anything though, like boost yourself. Give yourself an elemental boost.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking
Whew!
for.
This game, baby. Talk about tactics.
Physical defense.
You know, one thing, bringing up Bravely Default from earlier, one thing that game did differently than this one is that in that game, I don't know if you could break enemies or something like that, but you were also susceptible to being broken, if you will, in that game. So it actually made the fights a little bit more...
I just love Cyrus doing the lion dance.
Yeah, right?
Did he do that? I didn't see
He
it.
just kind of circles, like it's just funny. I need to res her because that's gonna suck here in a minute. Where are your olives?
Way at the bottom there.
Yeah.
Use whichever
good
one you want. Might as
olive.
well use
yeah,
an M.
Might as well. Medium olive. Give her that.
Boom.
Ooh, 2,000.
Yeah, baby. She didn't even need that.
I've never done that, yeah.
Okay, and you don't have anything that he's. Okay, we're just gonna. Oh, wow, her bow's not very.
Oh
good.
yeah, you should have used the spear.
Thanks, bro.
Sorry.
Ah, that's right. Yeah. I forgot the shit.
Oh wait, no.
He might be.
Honestly, he might be- he-
dead.
Yeah,
He's already orange,
He's close. He's getting
and then
close.
he's gonna get poisoned.
Good call.
Oh my god, only 100 experience?
Yeah,
so
well,
the-
this is only a level 20 dungeon, so.
So
Wow.
here's the thing.
Yeah, you definitely
If you
captured
had
him.
stolen money from that, I think you would have stolen about 12,000 gold. With the double power, because you got 6,000 for it. And from what I've seen, it's usually about that much you can steal from bosses. Plus, the item that you get
Nobody-
when you steal as a thief typically is pretty decent as well. Might have been some nuts.
I believe it, yeah.
Slippery nuts.
Slippery nuts. Some piercing nuts.
Okay, if you have not gone and checked your inventory yet, go look at all the nuts because outside of the tree
Permanent
nut,
stat
it's
boost.
permanent
Boost.
stat boost.
Yeah.
Which, who the hell do you use that? I mean, I guess.
I used it on my main.
Yeah, so did I.
I put it on
Way
it.
to go, yeah.
Yeah, here they are. Oh my god, dude! Speaking of someone that doesn't check their nuts.
No, I know.
You should
teleport him
always
back.
check.
You should always
take
check
him back
your
to
nuts.
town and switch out his party because it's hot garbage right now.
You must always check your nuts because
Is this your normal party?
no, Ophelia's not usually in
Okay.
there. I swapped her out.
Who do you usually have in Ophelia slot?
Alvin.
Just giving all the
Okay, and
candies
what,
to
do you have
dress up.
subclass on him yet, or?
Alvin has the.
Oh my god, yeah, this is.
I forget. who
Wait,
it's
this
got.
might not be the.
It is.
You sure it's not just lag?
No,
No,
it
that's
is.
the Switch
When
controller.
you get far enough away, it just happens. They'll automatically switch that out for you.
So this
I
might.
don't. Yeah.
I think it's lag, dude.
No, it's not lag.
Dude, look.
It's trust me. It's the
it
connection
really
to the
is.
Switch. You got to be much closer than that.
That's why I never use this.
Okay, anyway, whatever. It feels like lag.
This probably isn't the best place to talk about it, but I want to bring it up. The music in this game.
Oh,
man.
outstanding.
Yeah, it's very good.
The fact that they went with live musical instruments, like.
Okay. I am so glad they did that because even though it would have been great to get some 8-bit or 16-bit tracks.
You would have gotten worn out on it so fast.
Maybe.
I mean,
It's not even that. It's like it gives more to that sense of like, damn, this is a solid experience.
Well,
Like, they're
because
trying to
it-
sell that immersion.
It does what a lot of the things in this game do is it takes something that's a nostalgic, simple experience from a different time and then amps it up, and it's like, okay, but this isn't.
correct. So by having a live performance, it's kind of like that feeling of this is modern while still being retro. So it's
Yeah.
not like you said all retro.
I think it helps.
Helps bridge the gap.
Yeah, it helps cross that line and makes
Wow,
it
I never
feel.
even thought of that. That's really good.
It does. But
Brilliant
I think,
design decision.
I think that's what this game really is at its heart. It's in so many ways. It's like, let's make the one that we want to play now with the technology we have, but that brings all the things that we love from the old ones. And we're okay with sacrificing some of the stuff that would have made it great because it's a good game. Wow, you got a lot of.
Blind.
Yeah, got that going on, but I mean, weirdly enough, and maybe this isn't a great comparison, but it did pop into my head earlier. This game kind of reminds me of like Prey,
Why
And
did you
that-
just steal? Oh, never mind.
in that it's it's obviously copying something earlier, like a genre earlier, and it's just trying to be like a greatest hits album to that. And it's relying on then that's not the best metaphor. I'm trying to think of a better metaphor for it. I mean, it does feel unique, but it's not just another JRPG,
No.
but it's also not brand new. It's somewhere in between those two, and their release window was perfect. Like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's nothing else to care about, so it may even be getting boosted from that. But I mean, I do think it's legitimately a good game so far. I'm really curious as to how I feel when I go from 13 hours to 80.
Yeah, I think you'll start seeing a lot more. It sucks to say. Yeah, I know.
1100.
Do you realize that that's kind of based on like how many steps you take in an area?
Is that what that is?
Well, so you see how long we took in, we
I
just
was
kind of walking in
wondering.
there.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
I was wondering how much of that they use in their algorithms, but
Hey,
That's what I figured anyway. I could be wrong, but
I don't want to drive you here, Onyx, but maybe this would be a good time to warp back to town, swap out a couple people, and then we can talk about because we haven't looked at the job
wait.
system yet.
let's go to Boulder Fall. Okay.
Well, I like the music here.
Yeah.
Compared to the other ones, which have this medieval sort of soft or like mysterious feel,
See,
this
look.
one's got this really like sharp, chippy guitar.
See, I actually got 42 money just for walking in here.
Yeah, because you walked 42 steps.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's based on that.
Could be.
interesting. What was your favorite starting area, just environment-wise? Like, not character story-wise.
Wow, that's a great question. I think the setting, I really enjoyed the it's not called the Crestlands, is it? It's the area outside of Cyrus's place.
Yes. Aft something?
Atlas Dam.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, something like that. I 100% agree with you, though.
Yeah.
That
Because it's open.
it feels so fleshed out in a way that a lot of the other areas are very it's very small. You get into the
Yeah.
intro areas. There's a couple little branching paths.
in a
Okay,
corridor, yeah.
But I'm in there right now, and I'm like, this is huge. Because what I've been doing is obviously you've got all your path actions, and you walk in. And the first thing I do is I go to every area
person.
to find all the chests, and then I use all my path actions on every area. I'm like, I'm going to steal from you, I'm going to buy from you, I'm going to interrogate you. Like, we're going to do all the things, inquire. And then I go, like, talk to the main character, and that area is big. Like, it took me, like, a good 20 minutes to get through there and talk to everyone. You go into the castle, you see all the different rooms, and it was weird. They created space there that didn't even feel necessary, which is kind of world-filling in a way that I think a lot of areas haven't in this game. Like, that felt very efficient, and sort of we only created what we needed to, except that one, which maybe it plays into the story, I'm sure.
It
but
could be. There were a
I know,
couple
it's-
towns that were definitely bigger than others.
Yeah.
Like Tressa's town is like literally a few different huts on the beach.
Yeah, it's like a couple steps.
But then her town comes with the added effect of to get to her dungeon, there's a whole nother open space
right,
you
yeah,
have to go through.
the open space as opposed to the immediate access.
Yeah, there was one or two other places like that.
Ulbrecht
as well.
was like that as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, they. I would agree. I mean, I don't know if you had a favorite out of all of them. Well, yours is probably Prim. You're such a Prim boy.
I love me some Prim, let me tell you. But actually, so I wasn't like super crazy on Ophelia's story. It was pretty ho hum.
Preachy.
No pun intended. But the setting, however, I just love snow areas in games. Period. Like, if it's a snow area or a underwater themed area, I just love those in games. And that's a snow level.
Her town and then the area outside of her
Frostlands,
town.
that music.
The
Excuse me.
music and just the cold blue visual aesthetic is so
It's
good.
crazy. I don't know how they did it, but they managed to somehow feel cold with the music and the setting. But the music itself has a warmth to it
Yes.
because of the flame.
Yes.
Totally.
Oh my
Yes.
God, it's so good.
It feels like you're, and you see like the sparkles in the snow, so
Uh-huh.
you're cold, but yes, there's a warmth inside. Onyx. Okay, guys, this is game of the year.
Oh, get out of here. We're not there yet.
I mean, real talk.
10 out of 10.
The game in terms of just flat out design. Yeah, no. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
There are a lot of imperfections, and some of them are easier to, I guess, overlook than others. I don't know if I would say game of the year because of the contenders that are coming out, right? So far, though, this is easily top 3, I would say. So far. Could it remain top 3? I don't know. I think I have to beat it and really think about how it made me feel at the end of the day. But
I feel like the people who love it are going to love it to death, and everybody else is going to be like, okay, well, whatever. Because it is a niche title in some ways. Like there are people who just wouldn't even entertain the idea of playing it. It's not trying to be played by someone who's never sat down and played one of these games. It's not advertising itself to those people. It's like, oh, you loved, like them saying it was a spiritual successor to FF6. That had nothing to do with it having anything in common with FF6. That was entirely them saying that's the kind of person.
And I think they even took it back because that.
Yeah, it was a weird thing to say, but I get what they were going with it, where it was just kind of like, this is who we want to play, though. This is who's going to love this game. If you love that, like if Kefka's your favorite Final Fantasy villain, like that's going to be like...
You know,
cool.
and so on that, in that line then, so bringing this back to the story, that's the one question mark I have, and it's not because of the lack of interactivity between the main characters. That doesn't bother me at all. What I'm struggling with right now is I think about this game every waking minute I'm not playing it. I really want to play a lot more of this game, but I just don't have the time to invest 6 hours at a time to just go through. So, like, in a way, I actually appreciate that they have 8 different stories because I can get through one chapter before I have to put it down again.
Yeah, it is a little... It does give you some bite size.
It does give you bite-sized stuff, but because I've done the first 8 bites, I've done 8 chapter 1s, and it's like, you're about to get annihilated.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're about to watch him get his ass
I know.
kicked.
And you can, well, that's okay, and we'll hear the really awesome Game Over music. So I'm loving what I've seen so far, but I really hope that the stories progress to a point where the story lives up to the rest of the design.
I think that's my big concern is that I worry, maybe not worry, but I feel like I'll get to the end of the game. That looks awesome. I feel like I'll get to the end of the game and I'll just be like, okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, I played the game. Like, I don't feel like I'm going to feel significantly different at the end than I did at the beginning, which I suppose, applause for consistency. And this is theoretical. That may not be the case. But if that is what happens, I'll be a little disappointed that there wasn't more of a rise to it. But, I mean, I guess I just have to see. I mean, everyone that I read in previews and reviews that talked about the game was like, it's good. It's got some really maddeningly annoying, repetitive stuff to it. But what's really good is really good and keeps coming back, and it's fun.
And, I got to take all those reviews with a grain of salt because just the nature of the game being split in 8 different paths, and these reviewers who had to come out with a review are like struggling to get through all of these different stories, and they're so diverse. Like we've already talked about how you've got Tressa, who's like happy-go-lucky, let's go on an adventure, pirate hunting, whatever. Well, it's not pirate hunting, but well, there's pirates in her thing. And then you've got the Dancer, which is completely different.
Right.
She's out for revenge. She's subjected herself to a lot of torment. You've got, an apothecary he just wants to go out and help the world.
Right.
And then you've got a knight who had this whole betrayal, and he's given up on life, so to speak, in a way, but now he's heard the calling again, and the hunter's got that murder mystery, or not murder mystery, but a mystery. Like, they're just different feelings.
Yeah.
And it can be breakneck going between them.
And in some ways, that is the game. Like
that is the game.
That's the way they designed it.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, that's what the game is meant to do. Why your honey is so underleveled.
Super. She's like a level 11.
Like, she's like half mine.
If you beat this, she'll definitely level up.
Yeah, she will. It's fine. Like, it's what it was designed to be, and it means that there's some things that they knew weren't going to be awesome. Like, they weren't going to be huge things. I get that. So I think they probably were aware that they were sacrificing certain things for other really awesome stuff, and it's fine. I keep saying things and stuff. I don't want to we've talked about things. We've talked about all the mechanic. Like, we've talked about all of the different elements. So it is what it is, and I'm enjoying it for sure. And that bottom line, it's fun. Like, I think it's fun, and it reaches me.
Double level.
Almost, yeah. Wow.
Double for Ulbrich and almost for
So this game, let's just say it out flat. Good game. I mean, Sean thinks it's potential Game of the Year material. I can somewhat agree to an extent. A contender for sure. It's a fantastic game. I think it's a good experience. I don't know why, but I love that it's on the Switch because it's portable.
Perfect.
I can take it, I take it to work.
Because I've barely used it
on my breaks.
And I almost
playing it.
We do not advocate spending time playing games at work when you should.
However, if you have the opportunity, you have a lot of free time. Why not? It's definitely one of those.
Don't get fired.
I will say,
Yeah, don't please.
I am coming off of like 20 hours of Final Fantasy 15 Windows Edition because I'm replaying that game, and I had only played about 30 hours of it the first time, so I just caught up to where I was when I played it on PS4, and I'm enjoying that way more than I did the first time. And then jumping straight into this, obviously there's going to be comparison. Even though they're massively different games, they are still both at their heart the exact same genre. So, and that game relies very heavily on character interact. Like, that game is the juxtaposition of this one, right? It's all about those four guys interacting constantly, that driving storyline.
Yeah, that's true.
It's for me coming into it, maybe it's a good sign because it means that I'm still enjoying it despite those issues, right? Like, even though it's the opposite. And every time I've been tempted to go play Final Fantasy 15, I'm like, I should go play Octopath. Like, I want to play Octopath, so I'm looking forward to
it's a better game.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here. Octopath is a better. I mean,
after
literally
15 hours
after 15 hours of
impressions.
this, and me finishing 15, I've already enjoyed this game more than 15.
15 did have. They tied a bow on the story in the ending.
The ending was heartfelt.
That was a great ending. So,
I will say that.
So we haven't seen that yet.
It's hard to
We'll get
compare.
there.
I mean, scope-wise, it is very difficult to compare them because you're talking about this massive open 3D world.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of difference.
I mean, this is
there,
kind of
right?
open world too, minus obviously being in 3D, but it is open world.
Hey,
It's all
open
interconnected.
world.
You know?
No,
It's all a bunch of
I haven't
pathways, though.
experienced a place where it blocks you from progressing other than
Then level caps.
the level
But
caps, which will annihilate you, or if you are doing a story,
story,
thing,
right.
it'll put up that little
Yeah,
sign
yeah.
that
You
says,
shouldn't go
"Hey, you
here
shouldn't."
right
But
now.
this
Yeah.
this game, if you really look at it, it is open world design.
Yeah.
Just obviously not in the same scope of go everywhere you want, because you
Right.
can't still go anywhere you want, but it's
Right.
still in a linear path that is all connected.
Not everywhere though, because again, right outside of Atlas Dam, it's all fields, so you can run across the field. It's a little bit more open. I hope there's more areas in the game like that
what
are
I've
just corridors.
what I've noticed, without spoiling much, for the chapter 2 for Primrose, which is up in the snow areas, open snowfield.
Oh, and I just realized down in her
In the desert.
the desert.
So there are just
open
literally
areas.
open areas.
So here's my big question. If we compare this to all the things that it's trying to be, if we look at it in the scope of the original Final Fantasy games, like back when they were all 2D like this, if we compare it to Chrono Trigger, if we compare it to...
This is the natural evolution.
How does it... Do we feel like it would be like one of the best of those games if it came out at that time?
If
Like,
this game...
From what I've played so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say it would
Yes.
stand out like the Secret of Mana game stood out, where they were like really unique in the way they did stuff, but they were still RPGs.
Like this,
You know?
I saw somebody make this. Somebody said this on the internet, where, Final Fantasy progressed to 6, and then it took a hard turn with 7 because of technology, and then we got out into this whole let's try to make it as photorealistic as possible.
Right,
If they had kept going down a route like this could have been Final Fantasy 7.
You mean in terms of like popularity and stuff?
No, in terms
just in
of
terms of
like
the way it
like
plays.
so like if we go back to before Final Fantasy VII existed, and everybody's played 6, the next game in Final Fantasy
Oh,
that they made, like this is like the lost Final Fantasy VII.
You know what's
if you will.
funny?
I guess you could
say
see it that way. Yeah.
You saying that makes me think this, which is probably just a huge compliment to this game. I would kind of rather play Final Fantasy VII as this game than I would the new Final
So many
Fantasy VII
people have been saying
remake.
remake this Final Fantasy number here
I would-
in this
I
style.
would kind
6
of
is a
rather
big
play
one,
7 like this. I'm not really excited about the Final Fantasy
It's
VII
an
remake
action
anymore.
RPG, dude.
I wish you
like,
hadn't said that because I hadn't even thought of that. 7 in this.
I mean,
would
not
be
that 7's necessarily going to be
fantastic.
bad, although it's had its struggles, but they would certainly be farther into.
Have you been here already? Oh,
That's where you. So
This is where you
It's
get the
one
thief.
of the-
spoilers.
yeah,
this is
yeah.
where you get you unlock one of the.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna come back here.
Yeah, unlock one of the subclasses.
On my own play.
Oh, can we pull that up real quick? Let's go to the menu. I know we're coming up to the end here. We've been going for about an hour. So this is the job class menu. So once you've unlocked
Very cool.
a job, then you can rotate between them. The reason those are locked is
'Cause
because
everybody else has
another
them.
character has that job equipped.
They can only have one. Only one of your characters can have the subclass equipped.
Yes. Yes.
Spoilery question: does the subclass job they have equipped have to do with the outfit they wear too?
Yes.
Ah.
In battle.
Only in battle.
Because look how she looks in battle.
As
It's a thief.
As
As an apothecary.
I was
Dancer.
wondering what that was. Why don't they change that on the main map?
I don't know.
I think that was a design choice. You always knew which characters.
I wish
you
they had a little more visual variety for them. It was one thing. Which
In
it's
battle
not
they
the
do.
best.
In battle, they are.
Yeah,
different.
yeah. So it's okay. It's not like
it's not bad, but I did think they were gonna do something like that with that,
Yeah.
like once you unlock it. Because look how cool she looks as a
I
scholar.
know.
It's
like,
adorable.
it's like they've got some cool art for them. I wish you could see more of it like more often. But
Yeah,
I get it.
but yeah, this game. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes.
Hopefully,
I'm hopeful.
In a month and a half, we can sit down and review the thing. And
Hopefully,
give it a
hopefully
score.
before that. But
Yeah.
So I think we started this, but final early impressions of this game. Do you recommend it?
oh
Absolutely.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Anybody that has any sort of interest in RPGs in general should definitely play this game, especially if you grew up in the era of the SNES, of the Final Fantasy or PlayStation 1 like 2D games like this. Definitely
Or the
play it.
NES and
Yeah, I was worried about spending $60 on this game. I don't regret it because I've already put 14 hours into it and I've barely like scratched.
Yeah, exactly.
So
You're
it's
getting the
well
bang for
worth
the
the
buck.
money that you pay for it. Absolutely, it's a lot of fun.
Now I'm actually gonna get wrecked.
Whoa!
What the hell are those? Oh, did you go to an area you're not supposed to
Wait.
be at yet?
Oh, the music
Oh, so the music changes.
per area, right?
Yeah,
like the
it's
more difficult.
cool.
This is freaking. I'm gonna die.
I was wondering that because the combat music is so consistent. Oh, you're gonna get shreked.
Wow, those enemy designs are
looks so
so
cool.
cool. It's got like this Native American like chief thing.
They're just debuffing me to
they're
hell.
just prepping you. They're like, "Are you ready? Are you ready?"
Okay, those were our final impressions. Hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll let you see how this battle ends, and that's where we will finish things off.
I'm gonna die.
Can Onyx defeat the 3 demon
Oh god.
birds?
No,
Counts,
wait.
yeah, it's
no,
fine.
Find out next time on TGR. Just kidding.
Well, they're still debuffing me.
Yeah, that's
Wow, what
they're
debuff
doing
was
right
that?
now.
So you can't.
Sap speed.
What,
Oh, 1% capture.
what is the X mean?
Huh?
What is the X
I'm
mean?
silenced.
Oh, you're silenced. Okay.
Oh man.
Tressa cannot be silenced.
Oh! Oh! Oh, it hurts so good.
This is going to be a very depressing way of finishing this off.
That's okay, because Overbreak is gonna. Oh, he can't do anything. Ah!
Oh, that sweet 6 damage.
Okay, hopefully lightning,
Yeah, he used it earlier. It helped.
boom,
Wait.
but not the front one. The front one is
Yeah,
not
he's not
immune
weak
lightning.
to it.
Now Tressa does have a spear, but you're probably going to die long before that.
No, I'm not. Because look, they're just.
Horrific arrow.
They're whittling you away from the bottom up. They're like, break the weak chains first.
Not weak. Oh no! Ha!
He just
Oh,
wants
you
to,
got.
He just
oh,
wants
no,
to get one
didn't even
kill.
Get close.
That's all I want.
He's not gonna.
If
Come
you,
on,
if
baby.
you highlight, well, you're probably going to die now. Silencing mist.
Oh,
if you highlight them,
God.
their names help you help give you an idea of. So if they're white, you're not even 50% down. You're not
Beautiful.
even close.
We
I got
found
this,
Cyrus's
boys.
weakness.
Wait, hold on.
What was it?
Silence.
Oh yeah.
He's not very good once you say.
So get him the merchant subclass so you can unlock the cannot be silenced. I think it's the merchant.
Check this out. 100% accuracy, baby. I ain't dying.
For one swipe, she's
Yeah.
gonna get attacked 3 times in the neck.
Watch. Woo! Ooh! Ooh, I'm the best at this game. Oh, they're weak against it. Beautiful.
Oh, you should have tried that on the front guy. And
Oh, don't worry. You're uber silent.
boom.
One more shot. One more shot. There it is.
And that's it, boys.
And that's the end of the game. That's the end of our
You
video.
are dead.
Hope you guys enjoyed that. Resume us from the next save point. Last save point. I'll see you next time.
Later.
Like what you saw? Check out some of our other videos and be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with our latest content. Thanks for your support and thanks for watching.